red team. Oh, wait a minute. Shame. This is art. This is art. I honestly, the way they were hanging there, I wasn't sure if they were googly eyes or dingle balls.
Maybe a little of both?
A little of both.
Why not both? How you doing, red team, like I gotta ask? How was your retro day? Yeah, good sampling of various retri. Retrices?
Retrices.
Retrices. How was dinner? What'd you have?
Me too.
Yeah, yummy. Liquor.
I'm curious,
Yeah,
how many people have tried the escargot on that? Wow, yeah, that's good. I mean, it's weird. It's you know what it is, right? It's snails.
It's what?
I don't know if you know that. It's snails.
We got a pretty full show tonight, so I'm going to jump up straight to the morning announcements. Good morning, students. Good morning. Let's see. First, I am going to start with some good news. Depending on who you are, the shipwide chess match gold team has won 4 games. The red team has won 5. Storm made a very good point. If you guys want to be like real assholes, just none of you make a move now. And you've won this thing. Just stand over for a...
No, we're still thinking about it.
Not sure, I'll be back. So anyway, good on you on that, red team. They be drunken but mighty in the Kings game. Reminder, onboard booking for JoCo Cruise 2024 ends tomorrow morning. If you have not, but still wish to, book on board. The forms are available in the atrium, I believe at the info desk, and you may turn them in anytime between now and tomorrow morning. There's also the Bookie Monster secure deposit box that I believe is adorable and furry, as all things should be. Now for some sad news. Those of you might have heard in the hallways, as I just announced. Tonight's Jim Boja prom night show unfortunately has to be canceled. Jim is still not well enough, and we don't want him to utterly trash his voice solely for that. So we are very sorry, and unfortunately there's just not room in the schedule to reschedule it, but you can just sort of imagine what it might have sounded like. I think it might have been a little something like this. No, not really. No.
We don't have anything prepared.
If you have either borrowed games from the gaming library or have...
stolen games from the gaming library.
No, although good thinking with this batch.
I mean, printing.
If you have donated games this week to the game library, we ask that you go back and either return the games you borrowed or pick up the games that you have lent to the gaming library by 3 p.m. tomorrow because they need to pack it up. Thank you for that. One more reminder regarding the masking indoors policy. We thank you for cooperating and helping with the health and safety of all of our attendees. Again, because it's late in the week, thank you. If you are out of masks or you lost it or pitched it off the back of the ship in a drunken rage, there are masks available up on the top of deck 2, the assisted listening device table. If your waiter spills butter on it, that makes it delicious. Tastes like lobster or something. Or escargot, sure. Let's see. People have been asking the 2 gentlemen who run our escape room this year if they might be able to hold some office hours. They are going to hold some office hours in the loft where the escape room is at 4 p.m. tomorrow, if you're interested in meeting up with them and asking them about escape room things. And that is all of our morning announcements. So tonight's show, obviously, well not obviously, but per the listing later on in the show, we are going to have our improv group. How many people were at the first late night improv show? They're super great. But first, there is some more fun stuff TBA listed, and it is time to A. The first section of this evening's main concert is one of my favoriteest things in the whole wide world. It's time for some worst first page. The best. Will you please welcome tonight's authors, Sarah Marshall, Josh Gondelman, Jennifer Hutchison, and Meg Elison. For those of you unfamiliar with this or brand new to us, Worst First Page is a concept in which we ask some writers to write a terrible opening page to a book or work of fiction or writing that does not actually exist and is also awful. It can be in another author's voice, it can be in their own voice, or a made-up author, and it can be any genre. We saw the early show. Boy, you guys are in for a treat. Will you please welcome our first Worst First Pager, Sarah Marshall.
Hello. I'm so happy to be in front of you, the red team, although I must confess that I am on the gold team, so now you don't know what to think. You guys are the rowdiest nerds. I love it. So I'm going to read to you. I actually realized after I did this for the earlier show that I had forgotten to give it a title, which just goes to show that you guys get the best of everything. And so I think we're going to call this Primal Steel 7, The Talons of Justice. And Michael was to emulate like a grandpa conservative action star book that you would get at an airport. So, police psychic Lacey Justice sat bolt upright in bed. The gentle surf beat a rhythm on the beach outside that sounded like a voice with an unmistakable message. Catch him, catch him, catch him. Page break. Across Fort Lauderdale, Special Agent Steele Justice tensed as he approached the barista. Life had been so simple before he started the Golden Hairbrush mission, but since he lapsed into his coma, only to be revived 8 years later by a supple young colleague, Lacey Justice, no relation, things had become, well, different. It began when they asked what kind of milk you wanted, and before you knew it, they were asking for your pronouns. It's a grandpa book. You knew this was coming. You can't do action without bitching about gender, apparently. Suddenly, he collided with his colleague, Lacey Justice, no relation. Her sparkling blonde hair came down to her breasts, and her sparkling blonde breasts came down to her legs. And her legs went right down to the dark heart of humanity, where the serial killers live. Together, they had already caught the enchanted tiki room killer, the comedy cruise ship killer, and the TED Talk ripper. But Steele sensed that the greatest challenge lay just ahead. Steele, Lacey said, her breasts heaving with professionalism. Have we talked about my diversity, equity, and inclusion task force within the police psychic unit? Steel Justice is a strong man, said Steel Justice. Strong enough to wrestle a volcano or jump into an alligator. But can he follow the woman he loves into the final frontier of gender, diversity, equity, and inclusion? I wish you wouldn't talk about yourself in the third person, said Lacey. Which person? Said Steele. And there's another thing, said Lacey. I'm not the woman you love. I'm the person you love. We've taken on a lot of villains, but are we ready to attack the gender binary himself? Thank you.
Please welcome our next author, Josh Gondelman.
Thank you. One more time for Paul, huh? Okay, before I start, quick order of business. A message to relay. I was asked to relay this message on behalf of friend of the JoCo cruise, Jean Grey. Jean says, and I quote, "Tell everyone I miss them, and that they still shouldn't draw sunglasses on the sun." Enormous applause, like I just said some sort of secret code word. I don't know if that's binding, like I don't know if Jean can make ship rules like the googly eyes thing, but I did say I would relay it. Yeah. Yep, what Jean says goes. Okay, second order of business before I begin, this is a little caveat. I wrote this first page yesterday, and then today I had a different idea that I was gonna write and see which one came out better, but I was playing a game that I found out at the early show was called Drunk or Boat. And it turns out it doesn't matter. It's a false binary. You can be drunk and boat. No, sorry, again, as I said 2 nights ago, 3, one person chanting doesn't stop the show. It's gotta be a consensus. Okay, so what you're not gonna be hearing from me tonight, nope, I'm sorry. What you're not gonna be, it didn't coalesce fast enough. What you won't be hearing from me is the first page of my gritty reboot of the Redwall series in the style of Deadpool, which was either going to be called Redpool or Deadwall, but I hadn't decided. I'm just trying to get a jump on when the Brian Jacques canon goes into the public domain. So here's what you will be getting. I imagine you're all aware, Taffy Brodesser Akner's book, Fleischman is in Trouble, was a huge bestseller, and then it was adapted to a very successful series on FX and Hulu, and is nominated for all sorts of awards, which is really thrilling. The series stars Claire Danes and Lizzie Kaplan, who are excellent, but more relevant to this reading, it stars Jesse Eisenberg. Yes, who I think we can all agree is a, quote, Josh Gondelman type. The character is a neurotic Jew living in New York, worried about aging and masculinity, and it's like I was right there, guys. So I think this could have been a really big break for me as an actor. Nothing against Jesse Eisenberg, one of my favorite performers, but I am ready for my star turn, my social network. So I've started writing my own book in the vein of Fleischman, but my book, the main character is so clearly meant for me to play that once the book gets this rabid fandom that I'm anticipating, the fans will revolt if anyone but me plays the titular character in the adaptation. Thank you. Okay. So, without further ado, I bring you the first page of my upcoming novel, Gondelman is in Peril. Okay, here we go. George Gondelman, I changed it a little. George Gondelman put his head down on his desk. He had just canceled a work meeting, citing a feeling of vertigo stemming from his acute and ever-present awareness of the Holocaust. But in reality, he was probably just hungry. The cool oak felt soothing against Gondelman's abundant forehead. He tried not to think of himself as having a terrible head of hair, but rather a dazzling head of head. A largely unadorned carrying case for his clever but otherwise not especially powerful brain. A brain that spent an inordinate portion of its energy upset that even pretty nice hotels seldom splurge for upmarket toilet paper. A brain that often declined invitations to his friends' weddings for unclear reasons, but but would rarely turn down the opportunity to accept sushi of dubious provenance, including on cruise ships. As Gondelman sat up, his soft midsection butted up against the desk. For no particular reason, he thought to himself that if someone were to make a movie or TV series about his life, it would be important that no one too conventionally sexy be cast to portray him. No one with six-pack abs or an impressive beard or even an especially good posture, honestly. He thought idly it would be a mistake, even, to cast too seasoned or talented a performer in the role. It would take away from the relatable everyman quality he's convinced he has, despite being a weird little Jew whose thin, reedy voice leaves new acquaintances mystified about his sexuality. I see I've struck a chord. Yes, a kind of sloppy, effortful performer would be best to capture Gondelman's essence. He himself was, as his late step-grandmother once told him, more of a writer than an actor anyway. It was a well-intentioned comment, and yet 20 years later, he couldn't help thinking about it and even recounting it for strangers. It was humiliatingly his primary memory of this lovely woman who had otherwise shown him nothing but kindness. It was thoughts like these that made Gondelman such a flawed but compelling protagonist. Gondelman blinked, shook his head. How much time had he wasted on these humiliating ambitions? Why would anyone make a movie or TV series about his life? Unless... Two things were clear about him, though. One, he had gotten himself into the kind of sexy, neurotic entanglement that people win Emmys for portraying on screen. And two, in the unlikely event that it came up, he was willing to show his bare ass on premium cable or a top-tier streaming service.
Thank you, Josh. Will you please welcome to the podium our next author, Jennifer Hutchison, with assistance from Josh Gondelman and Mark Evan Jackson.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Hutchison. I'm a screenwriter by trade. So when I was asked if I wanted to do worst first page, I said, can I do like worst first scene? Since it's way more my comfort zone, which is why these two lovely gentlemen are on stage with me. It's also more than a page because screenplay format just doesn't quite like translate the same as a novel. So here we go. Our first scene of sci-fi smash hit, Infinity Vortex, Cycle 4. Exterior space, the void. Day, night, time doesn't exist here. We're wide on the inky blackness of space, darker than the deepest pits of the mines of Braxis 3. Where's that? I don't know, man, I made it up. That's how this works. Darker than that special black that one guy patented and won't let anyone use without paying through the... Great! Both shows knew this reference. I'm so excited. Thank you, JoCo. Darker than your 7th grade homeroom teacher's soul. Maybe personal. There aren't even stars out here. There should be stars though, right? Note, hell yeah, there should be stars, but we'll get to that. And the bastards who stole them. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light rips through the black, tearing a gaping wound across the void with a shriek. Barely visible inside the blinding light is a silhouette of something hurtling towards us, hurtling fast, closer and closer until we can make out what it is. It's a ship, a spaceship. It's beat to shit. No shiny utopia jumpsuit bullshit here. This thing's been to the farthest reaches of the galaxy and back. The journey written all over its hull in dense scorch marks and strange and likely pornographic alien graffiti. As soon as it's out, the Terran space collapses with a whoosh. Our lonely ship, now a lone spot of tarnished silver in the vast, lonely velvet blanket of empty space. Smash 2. Interior, SS Argonathi Spank Wilkinson, command deck. Close on the scruffy, unshaven face of Breck Trevelyan. Think Tom Cruise, 28, 6'5", and all muscle. A half sneer perpetually on his lips. His eyes scan the instrument panel before him as a single bead of sweat drips down his chiseled brow.
Well, it appears we're still alive, little brother.
Reveal. Hunched down in the seat next to Breck is his younger brother, Macton Trevelyan. Timothy Chalamet, 24, 6'4", and lanky with a mischievous tilt to his chin.
You sure? You sure? We did pass through a bright light.
You know as well as I do what Dad always said, little bro. The last thing you feel before you die
It's the frigid clench of death's 8-fingered grip tightening round your neck as his other hand gently strokes your back to comfort you as you drift from this mortal plane to the unknowable lands beyond knowing. Yeah. Of course I remember. He repeated it to us every night before bed. As you know.
The brothers smile, but then the smiles are replaced by sadness. Macton wipes away a single tear.
I can't believe it's been 10 years, big brother. 10 years since Dad died and left us this ship. We're taking real good care of her, Pops. I promise.
That's why we're here, little brother. To make sure it doesn't get to 11 years.
Damn straight, big brother. I just wish Mom and Polly were still here. To be there when we enter the infinity vortex and bring Dad back. Back from the dead.
You know as well as I do that our own sister knew that when she went down into the abyss of Carpathics to retrieve the Mavalian navigation crystals, that there was no coming back.
Macton shakes his head, suddenly angry.
And you didn't stop her, big brother. You were supposed to protect her. Her and Mom.
Don't you think I know that? The sight of Polly's face swallowed up in those 1,000 hungry maws tortures me every single day, little brother. And don't you know how often I wish it was me and not Mom who that 12-horned Galtorian ram gored right through the heart? Every goddamn minute of every goddamn day, little brother.
I know, big bro, and I'm sorry.
A long beat of silence. Longer. Even longer. Until...
Let's just focus on bringing back Dad. Before the vortex closes and the Collector Collective finishes snapping up every single star in the universe.
Before they get to Earth.
And steal our son.
Breck sits back at the control panel, his fingers flying over the old school interface. Think alien, none of that futuristic Apple Store shit. It beeps once, twice, 3 times as the green glow of a pulsing circular mass resolves at the center of the display.
Yeah, baby. There she is.
The vortex? Seriously?
Just where the Council of Three said it would be.
We did it, big brother.
The brothers embrace, looking upwards.
Almost there, Pops.
Suddenly, the instrument panel goes haywire as alarms sound.
Oh, I got a not so good feeling about this.
Breck, fingers flying over the controls.
No, it can't be. We miscalculated the threshold parameters in the last time tear. It's thrown us off course.
I knew it was too good to be true. How far off course?
Breck looks down, not wanting to say it.
How far off course?
I'm so sorry, little brother.
How far off course, big brother? Where are we?
Not well. Not where, little brother. When.
Jennifer Hutchison. Please welcome our last author for the evening, Maggie Lisson.
I'm sorry, folks, I have bad news.
I've come from the future. In the future, the only books that are written, the only movies that are made are sequels. And they're all about nostalgia. I give you the worst first page of Ready Player 47. I awake to the sound of the national anthem playing loudly over the Bluetooth speakers concealed behind every mirror, which are also cameras. The national anthem is, of course, Gimme More by Galactic Empress, our benevolent overlady, Britney Spears, may she live forever. The sound of "It's Britney, bitch" launches me out of my bed and propels me toward my quest. After I sing my heart out, I slip on my Christian Bale is the Dark Knight skin and devote my religious fervor and my pharmaceutically generated focus to the holiest of holies, a pristine and perfectly preserved iPhone 3GS, on which I will do battle with the angriest of birds. But as I approach my inner sanctum, I see that she is there. Light of my life, fire of my loins, the girl with the Chuck Norris tattoo. She's got on her studded belt over her ultra low-rise jeans. Her whale tail barely conceals a blue kitty face avatar tramp stamp. She's powering through another level of Candy Crush. I can see it over her glittery, bronzed shoulder. Have you been watching the movies I downloaded for you? I ask her. The classics from the greatest period in the history of culture, 2000 to 2010. I have, she says, not turning away from her game. Her dedication to her art makes me harder. Harder than a fiendish Sudoku. I really, really love Heath Ledger and Brittany Murphy. Oh, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. I hope there's a lot more movies with them in them. I try to focus on my birds, my pigs, but I can't stop looking at her. I can't help but think that she is the Lindsay Lohan to my Wilder Valderrama. Did you watch Attack of the Clones, she asks me, as she ascends like a Jedi master through yet another level of exploding gobstoppers and tactically positioned raspberries. And Revenge of the Sith, I tell her, breathlessly. But did you ever get the feeling that there's more to that story? I press her, like there's a missing piece from before that might put it all in context. She scoffs at me, not turning her head. Listen to me, Obama Van Dutch 69. There's no point at all to living in the past. And she gets on her Segway, and she's gone.
Let's hear it for all the worst first pagers. Thank you so much. We're now going to reset the stage for the second portion of our evening. And the second portion of our evening is Fake TED Talks. For those of you who have not seen this before, these are TED Talks that are fake. Or more to the point, they are TED Talks that are dumb and stupid and about made-up stuff. As such, please welcome our first fake TED Talker. Oops. Hey! I did not see that. Nobody saw that. See, I told you they were dumb and stupid. Please welcome our first fake TED Talker, Travis McElroy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm here to talk to you tonight about fan theories. Do you know about fan theories? Could you pretend like you don't? Because it's kind of let's try it again. Do you know about fan theories? No. Oh, great. So fan theories are any time when fans theorize about what happens in a thing. It's not explicit within it. Yeah, you get it. To my mind, there are two different forms of fan theories. There's the subtextual and the hypertextual. So hypertextual is anything that is not mentioned or hinted at in the dialogue, but the facts fall into place so clearly that someone can say, like, I think that's it. For example, in Frozen, there is a fan theory that Elsa and Anna's parents are also Tarzan's parents. And that, I know, but it's real. And that the ship, that when they go down, they end up on the island and they're Tarzan's parents, right? So then subtextual is stuff that's hinted at within the dialogue, and fans believe that it is true but not explicitly stated. So also, for example, in Frozen, there's a fan theory that Hans is not actually a bad person, but that the trolls curse him to be bad. Because in Fixer Upper, the trolls say, get the fiancé out of the way and the whole thing will be fixed. And if you watch Frozen, until that moment, he has not done anything. He has not even hinted at being a not good person. And then suddenly the trolls are like, we just gotta get him out of the way, and then she'll be free to date Kristoff. And then suddenly he's like, I don't love you. And so there are people who are like, I think the trolls cast a spell on him to make him evil. And then there's a third, very rare example, which is a theory that's just so true, it stops feeling like a theory and instead just feels like they forgot to say it was true. Like my theory that Olaf is a Horcrux. Now, I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter, so the amount of Frozen that I've consumed with my human face is off the charts. And I'm not just talking about Frozen 1 and 2. Oh, I've seen those. But I'm talking about Frozen Fever. I'm talking about Frozen Olaf's Adventure. I'm talking about the Frozen where Olaf is born. I'm talking about Lego Frozen. I'm talking about homemade little dolls, Elsie and Anya, playing together completely non-canonically, but it makes you think. And the fact of the matter is, Olaf is created during, okay, let's get serious. Olaf is created during Let It Go, right? That's fact, right? Thank you. What is she letting go of? Well, she's letting go of her dreams, her hopes of a normal life, and more than that, she's letting go of her hopes of having a close personal relationship with her sister and being open with other people, being able to connect with them. And then Olaf is made. And what's he immediately do? Becomes best friends with Anna, right? He's open. He likes warm hugs. You know who doesn't like warm hugs? Elsa, because she let go of that part of her. It's in fucking Olaf. More than that, friends, in Lego Frozen, Olaf says to Anna, the sky is awake. Do you remember, Anna? Except Anna didn't say that to Olaf. She said it to Elsa. Because Olaf has Elsa's fucking memories. Yeah. I know. Because he houses a part of her soul. And then, spoiler alert for Frozen 2, Elsa dies. I know. And then you know what happens? Olaf dies. And then you know what happens? Elsa comes back to life after Olaf dies. Almost like she drew back the part of her soul and it brought her back to life. Like, let me check my notes, a fucking Horcrux. It's simply true. Thank you very much.
Please welcome our next speaker, Paul Sabor. Thank you. All right, get them all out right now and then we'll fucking start this thing. Because I've got some truths to tell. Genius. Vision. The ability to perfectly encapsulate complex thoughts and emotions and express them concisely through art, without the use of language. So many of us strive for it. Few achieve it. Those who do are born with the ability. What is this, fucking children's theater? Are you just one huge goddamn speaking spell? The red team goes. All right. I didn't want to invoke this card, but for my birthday, please contain your shit for the next 6 to 7 minutes. Genius. Vision. The ability to perfectly encapsulate complex thoughts and emotions and express them concisely through art, without the use of language. So many of us strive for it. Few achieve it. Those who do are born with the ability, and the rest of us can merely watch from a distance and admire. Perhaps learn something? Who can say? I want to talk to you tonight about the greatest moment in 1970s rock music history. To do that, I need to talk to you about the Eagles song, Hotel California. To do that, I need to talk to you about the Eagles album, Hotel California. To do that, I need to talk to you about the Eagles. The Eagles, technically just Eagles, but universally referred to with the definite article, are an American rock band formed in California in 1971. They were one of the most successful music acts of the 70s. And in their most prominent years, between their debut album Eagles in 1972 and their breakup 8 years later following their 1979 album The Long Run, they had 5 #1 singles, 6 #1 albums, and won 6 Grammy Awards and 5 American Music Awards. Their 1976 album, Their Greatest Hits, 1971 through 1975, still holds the record for the best-selling album of all time in the United States at 38 million copies and counting. Worldwide, as of 2020, the album has sold over 45 million copies, making it the world's best-selling greatest hits album and 3rd best-selling album of all time. The band's sound, influenced by rhythm and blues, soul, bluegrass, and rock bands such as the Byrds and Buffalo Springfield, exemplifies what came to be known as California rock. A softer-edged rock and roll variant, tinged with elements of country music, and even folk. The band members also became entwined with and influenced by the community of musicians who lived and gathered in the Laurel Canyon area of Los Angeles at the time, including such luminaries as Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Joni Mitchell, Jackson Browne, Linda Ronstadt, and Harry Nilsson. In early 1976, the lineup at the time, Glenn Frey, Don Felder, Randy Meisner, Don Henley, and newest addition, Joe Walsh, began recording their 5th studio album. Between March and October of that year, they laid down a collection of songs that drifted further from their original, much stronger country music roots and toward a harder, more electrified rock sound. The album evolved into somewhat of a concept album, shot through with themes of loss of innocence, the cost of naivete, and the band's own relationship with the perils of fame and excess. This was reflected in such tracks as Victim of Love, The Last Resort, Wasted Time, and Life in the Fast Lane. On December 8th, 1976, the completed album Hotel California was released. Its themes of weary sadness and wary bitterness were best encapsulated on Side 1, Track 1, the album's title single. It was released as the album's second single, and at 6 minutes and 30 seconds long, it was a risky release, being far longer than songs most radio stations at that time generally played. But the song's length works to its advantage, taking its time to set the scene, beginning starkly with bass and ethereal 12-string guitar. Don Henley's lead vocal and drums kick in to introduce a stark desert setting and a mysterious hotel, both literal and metaphorical.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
The chorus features guitar riffs from Joe Walsh and the band's signature vocal harmonies.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
As the song winds towards a claustrophobic, foreboding climax, describing a horror film-like inability to escape this hotel, and by extension one's own tragic circumstances, the song launches into what is inarguably its most memorable feature, dueling guitar solos between Don Felder and Joe Walsh. Thus. Fiercely melodic and sinuously catchy, the solos bounce brilliantly off one another for 2 full minutes. Even casual fans are able to accurately sing the full duration. Roughly 65 seconds in, the separate solos begin to align, culminating in the song's most iconic element, paired arpeggiations that continue for another full minute. Beautiful, inescapable, voted the best solo of all time by readers of Guitarist magazine in 1998. But I'm here to talk to you tonight about the greatest moment in 1970s rock music history. And this guitar solo is not that moment. That moment comes slightly earlier during the song's final verse. You have already heard it here during this presentation tonight. It is this drum fill, played by Don Henley at the 4-minute and 20-second mark.
I had to find a passage back to the place I was before.
Let's listen to that one more time.
To the place I was before.
Gorgeous, masterful, essential. Surrounded by 6.5 minutes of consummate musicianship in one of the strongest musical arrangements of its day, Don Henley beheld the space between the end of one line and the start of another. From the infinitely possible choices of patterns and textures to fill this chasm, to musically evoke the desperation and longing for passage back to the place he was before. To smell again whatever the fuck colitis is. Don Henley made a bold, decisive, and dazzling choice. One single hit. One tom-tom. No floor tom. No booming bass drum to ground everything. Fuck you, crash and ride cymbals. You are not needed here. Eat shit, snare drum. You would only make things worse. Just you, my friend. my stalwart companion, there at my right hand, just as you should be. Speak but once, and then be still. Henry David Thoreau said, "As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Solitude will not be solitude. Poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness weakness. Inside each of us is a Don Henley, Hotel California, single tom drum fill." If only we have the strength to listen. Please welcome our final Fake TED Talk speaker, Jonathan Colton.
That was weird, Paul. Hi, everybody. My name is Jonathan Colton. I know you knew who I am, but I'm going to introduce myself anyway. I, of course, am the founder and the chief researcher at the ISSSR, which, of course, is the Institute for the Serious Studies of 70s Rock. As I'm sure most of you know, we have a three-part mission. Number one, to ruminate. Number two, to illuminate. And finally, to ingroovinate. And we do this by, ruminating as we listen to 70s rock music, and then we illuminate by publishing our findings, and then, the ingroovinate is to hopefully engender a deeper appreciation of the, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted, to be honest. I'm not sure how this happened, but, well, I'll just say it. Tonight I was going to talk about the Eagles. Yeah, I know. Technically just Eagles. And specifically the song. So, I mean, here we are. You would think that this is an easily avoidable problem, but apparently not. It's like showing up at a party and you're wearing the same dress as somebody else. I apologize that, I really don't want to waste anyone's time. I did spend a lot of time on this presentation, putting in all the clips to make it fun and choosing the rainbow theme. I hope that I know there will certainly be some overlap in the things that Paul talked about and what I will talk about, but I hope that there are still some insights there that are worth your time. So with your indulgence, I will just continue, and I'll skip over the parts that are, too similar. Sure. So what is it that makes the song Hotel California so great? It's 12 strings. Stark desert setting. I'm just going to skip past some of this stuff I know Paul has covered, so I'm just going to go past. Yeah. It's going a lot faster than I thought. Here's the kicker. I mean, in my opinion, the most important part of the song is actually I was going to make a 420 joke here, but now I'm not really in the mood. And we'll just get past all of this. Yeah. You know what? This is bullshit. No, this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. I gave him my presentation so that he could load it on this computer. There's no way. And I'm sorry, I know you came here for 3 TED Talks, and now you're basically just getting 2, and that's not fair to anyone. And I'll be honest, when I first started this talk, I was a little embarrassed because Paul had just done pretty much exactly the same thing that I was going to do, and I was feeling a little self-conscious about the fact that maybe you were going to think that my ideas were not original ideas, but quite honestly, the longer I talk up here, the angrier I get, and I'm really starting to wonder some things. Listen, certainly he knows. Yes, ISSSR, certainly he knows about my work there, right? Obviously. Is he aware of my interest in pre-guitar solo drum fills from rock songs in the mid to late 1970s? I think he probably is. And I don't want to make any accusations, so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. Is it possible that Paul saw my presentation at an earlier talk? I'm regretting all of these little rock things that I put in there. It's not so fun anymore. Is it possible that he rigged the lineup so that I would go after him and so that he could scoop me instead of me scooping him? And again, just asking questions. Is it possible that Paul stole my ideas? I'm just asking. Does Paul know that I have an album called Some Guys, which is covers of 70s soft rock songs that sound exactly like the originals? Is he aware that on this album I covered the track New Kid in Town by the Eagles, technically just Eagles? He is now, motherfuckers. Jonathan Colton. Give it up for him. He's a promising young musician. We see big things in his future. It is time to reset the stage one last time for our improvisers. We were trying the other night for the first show to come up with, we wanted them to come up with the worst possible name for an improv group, and they threw out a few, but we think we finally nailed it. The absolutely shittiest name for any improv group. Please welcome the members of JoCo Cruise. The key really is the parentheses, I think. Before I bring them out, unfortunately I have to say that one of the improvisers, Annie Savage, has not been feeling well and won't be able to be with us tonight, unfortunately. But please, if you would let forth with a full-throated awe followed by hearty applause in case she is watching on the simulcast. We love you, Annie, and please feel better soon.
Bailey, you can just go to the regular slide. They do not need to perform in front of this light and green abomination that I made. Will you please welcome our improvisers, Mark Evan Jackson,
Good evening. We are going to improvise for you now. You already know how this works, but nothing that you're about to see has ever been performed before. Nothing that you're about to see will ever be performed again. We're going to take your suggestions, make shit up, and go home. We do have a special guest joining us in a moment, but to begin, may we please have the suggestion of your favorite store in the mall? Claire's.
I'm not even gonna let you talk. You want your ears pierced, don't you?
Yes!
All right.
Does that mean yes?
Yeah, it does, but you know, we don't have the usual piercing stuff. I'm just doing a hot knife stitch. What we do is, you know, I get a lighter, I get the knife real hot, and I poke it real quick. And you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good.
Yeah, that's a wide knife. Where's the... I'm not even seeing a point. It's like a square.
No, I only was able to get a cleaver. My mom doesn't let me add her knives. She's real strict about it, so I'm gonna just kind of try and do a chop motion.
I have so many questions about your home life that I'm not gonna ask.
What is a flavor of ice cream that shouldn't exist?
Someone ask
Pistachio.
Hey, my man.
Hi.
I saw you been following me for the last 2 blocks, my man.
I'm just on my way to work.
Of course you are, my man.
Yeah.
Say, have you ever had pocket pistachio? It's pistachio ice cream warmed by a grown man's pocket.
I'm leaving.
No! Don't leave until you get your hands hot and mouth full of pocket pistachio.
No.
You say no now, but when you wake up 45 minutes from now with the smooth, soothing flavor of pocket pistachio on your lips, you're gonna be a changed man, my man.
Can I just give you money or something, or should I just run?
Oh, my friend, this is not about making money, my man.
Okay.
This is about getting the smooth, delicious, warm flavor.
Stop saying warm with reference to your pocket.
How about a word that is in one of your favorite songs? Attic? Attic? Attic.
Attic.
We don't have a cat. Sure as fuck don't have this many cats.
Ooh.
Cartoon ghost?
Ooh.
I mean, decide. It can't be all of you.
Don't forget your wife's anniversary. She likes pearls.
She likes furs?
Pearls.
Pearls.
Oh, sir, how did you wind up in the attic of Claire's?
I climbed that ladder. I thought it was for everyone.
It is for everyone.
I'd like to leave now. Hello?
Check in anytime you want.
We have a very special guest monologist. We have someone we are huge fans of and are so happy that we have for our guest. Please welcome Sarah Marshall. Thank you for having
invite you to riff off of any of the pure gold you just saw on the stage. If there are any thoughts you have that trigger off of this, or you can get a fresh suggestion from the audience. We'll grab one for you.
I want to roll for it and try a fresh suggestion.
Nice. Let's get a suggestion.
Sure. We all know about archery and sewing and things like that. What's a merit badge that should exist? Say it again. Medieval combat.
Medieval combat? The first thing that comes to mind, this is so unfortunate, is that the first time I went to London, they took us all to Hampton Court. This was on one of those student trips for overachievers. And they had this beautiful tourist attraction, this old castle with peacocks walking around, making horrific noises while they banged each other. And they had like cosplay jousting. And I was such a killjoy that I was like, it's really offensive to all the people who died or were mutilated by jousting that we're doing this as entertainment. And then we all went to Stonehenge and got candy that looked like Stonehenge.
Sarah Martin?
Yeah.
Prithee, 'tis anyone here for a joust? Prithee, 'tis anyone here for a joust?
Fuck yeah, I'm here for a joust.
Step forward, good sir, step forward.
I was planning on watching, but cool.
Nay, when I do ask, is anyone here for a joust? Thou must joust our fairest jouster here. Meet Sir Lance a whole bunch. The rules are very simple in this medieval jousting. You run toward each other, willy and nilly, with your swords at full mast, as the birds make sweet, sweet love to each other.
They're okay, right? That seems like combat.
I can't say they enjoy it or don't. It's not for me to say. Judge not the birds, it is written. On the count of 3.
Point of information?
Yes.
Are there not horses that should be involved?
As the horse himself would say, nay. And the third horn, let the yes, protest. Yes.
Yeah, is somebody gonna clean the blood off my armor again? I've murdered a couple people this morning.
Yes.
I would also like armor.
I would like nothing more than giving you armor, but the joust must commence. In 3, in 2, in 1.
Someday all of Stonehenge will be yours, my daughter. All of it. As far as the eye can see, or the ear can hear, or the tongue can taste, Stonehenge will be yours.
Thank you, Father.
I've commissioned all of the local citizens to turn the rocks into candy.
Oh!
Your grandmother would have wanted it that way.
I suppose she would have.
She dreamed of a land that she could eat. Grandson, she used to say to your brother.
I was going to say. Yes, of course, alas, I never met her, but my brother told many tales of her and her eatery.
I can't help but notice in my periphery, someone is near us.
No!
Begging your pardon, my lord.
Yes, please.
We've finished changing everything. And if nothing else you require, we boiled all the sugar in England.
It's already food?
It's ready, and we've all been terribly scorched.
Well, you've done your job. Go back and watch the birds make love.
Thank you, Will. Not for nothing, sir.
Yes.
People have been inquiring about pay, housing, and food.
pay, housing, and food. Do
I'm
those
so sorry.
things.
That none of that sounds like it's about me and the gift I've been bestowed.
No, congratulations.
If we could,
You're glowing.
table that.
Sure, yes.
Thank you.
There are many open, sucking wounds.
Thank
burns.
you. Thank you. What's your name?
Thank you. I was never given one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, you nameless you. Bye, you nameless person.
Oh, turn your back.
They're not horrible if you can't see them.
Oh, this is wonderful. So often have I thought, why have these long-ranging historical moments of significance captured in stone forever? I hope you just had them get rid of those altogether, crush them into a powder. Now we can eat something in
Oh,
history.
there's someone else in our periphery.
Boy, they've said to come to you. For my arm, it was caught in one of the Jolly Rancher
Not
bridges.
sure.
You haven't met him, have you? This is Ledris Elba. Ledris, what now?
My arm is caught inside the bridge and they said to come to you.
Oh, your
you would fix it.
Oh, your poor arm,
You'll give
Ledris.
me a workman's comp.
Workman's comp.
Behead yourself.
You guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm just I'm a substitute teacher. I didn't realize until I got here that this is the overachievers, and
We bring our own chairs.
I know, I saw that.
My daddy said that I was born so smart that I birthed myself.
Cool. I'm mostly a bass player, so
Stand-up bass or guitar bass?
Negative B plus minus squared to B squared minus 4. Ooh, I hate microphones. Ooh, that work again. Now I love microphones. I was about to tell you that negative B plus minus squared to B squared minus 4AC over 2A. If that's something I say to calm myself.
great.
Oh, gee, yeah. I'd like to
sorry.
know. I'd like to, yeah. I'd like
Just Dennis.
Dennis.
It's my name. I thought you were going to ask my name. Sorry.
None taken.
I'm just sorry. I'm a little intimidated. I thought maybe I'd be, just watching a study hall or something. But you guys are heavy hitters, and I like the judgment. But they
told you that it was a class of overachievers, so you had time to prepare.
just to when I got here.
Uh-huh. That's your excuse. That's so cute.
Oh, sorry. This is a third grade class?
Yeah. So, the teacher said he was going to give me notes on the mech that I built in the playground. It's a
Mech?
a mechanized mobile suit of armor. Used to.
So not home mech.
Wow, Dennis, you sound like a man who's easily confused by endoplasmic reticulum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that puns are one of the lower forms of humor, so if you could just, up it a couple of notches, we'd really appreciate it.
Puns, because people using Neanderthalic symbolism. Puns.
I wasn't making a pun. When you said mech, I thought you meant home mech.
No, it's a giant. I want you to look at the engineering of my mech to see if it's strong enough to go into space.
Yeah.
Okay, do not turn your head to the right.
He's had some interest from NASA already, so...
Yeah, they all hit me up, all the scientists.
You know what I think I figured out? Black men cannot sit down with microphones.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Once again, Sarah Marshall. Did any of that spur anything? Any memories?
Well, actually, we did a panel earlier today where the question was, when did you begin to be funny? And, which is a great question. And you think about when your psychic wounding began. But I remember that when I was in first grade,